then you have not just the algorithms and Amazon and Google and stuff like that using it for the predictive algorithms and chatbots, but you also have now more AI softwares that people are using and programs such as Midjourney, ChatGPT, Kyber, all these different things. So like, have you kind of experimented with any of those, or what do you know about them? Like, what's your take on that?
Well, one thing I know that there's a big conversation happening right now is with the SAG strike, and there's the WGA strike as well, but the SAG strike, and as an actor, that one hits home. And one of the main points was that they wanted to pay someone a day rate, that's around like $300, $350 for the day, scan these people that are in the background of these film projects, TV shows, whatever it is, and use their likeness and image, but in an AI version in perpetuity for all of time without paying them any extra except for that $350. So they own your image and your likeness over time, and that is not okay.
That's terrible, dude, because extras, I've been an extra, I've worked with extras as a PA. Yeah. They make their living on those whatever $100, $200 each day. And like, it's actually good work. You can turn it into a career. Yeah. But like, you're working very long hours every day. That's crazy. So, they just rob you of that.
Yeah. And that's the difference between, so many people. You have to make a certain threshold, which is about $27,000. I don't know the exact amount right now, but you have to clear this amount. It's about $27,000. And that's so that you can qualify for healthcare as a SAG member. Well, that $350 or those residual checks can be the reason that somebody gets healthcare or not. And that is to where, when you dive into being an extra or a background actor or even a guest star, that $350 actually could be the difference of you getting your healthcare or not. And then if you don't get a second try or a chance because they're using your image and likeness in another property, another IP, another film or a TV show, your margins are going to go lower and lower, and they're already increasingly lower. And then we have inflation. Then we have all these other issues in the world. It's already, extremely expensive if you're an actor in LA just to live here.
Certainly.
But yeah, it's which is a good thing that people are standing together for this strike, because it's the people that are at the, kind of at the bottom line that are really trying to make a career. And that's the difference too, is that one extra role. Brad Pitt was a background actor, and I love this interview that he tried to sneak in the line and everyone basically, tell him to F off. But now it's Brad Pitt, right? But that's someone getting discovered, or that's maybe when your big break, or that's a foundation for you to build off as an actor. Because as an actor, you have to build your resume and grow and grow and grow until hopefully eventually one day, you're doing the big films and the shows and working with great people. But
you make relationships on sets. You get other jobs. Like the assistant director will be like, "Hey, I'm producing another show for Showtime next week. Come work on that." Like,
it's somebody that wants to, that is moving into other elements and other avenues in the film industry. Directing and producing and writing now, and you learn so much on set with those relationships that you acquire from being on set, and then from being on different sets. People operate differently, they think differently, they react differently, they direct differently, and you get around all these things and you learn and take from those, and then you continue your art in different ways. And you're like, well, I know how to solve that problem because I saw Danny McBride do it in this thing, and now and you go on and on and on. But if it robs you of those opportunities, then what can you do? But for me, before this was even a conversation, my whole face was scanned, and I played Mel Brooks. So it makes me think about these things where it's like, well, now they have actually done a 360 scan on my face, and they have access to that. But obviously, I didn't sign that contract. That would give my image and likeness away for all
perpetuity,
all time. Yeah, but for the purpose of that, it was amazing for the history of the world. Course. Yeah, because that's telling a story in a way that is unique and funny and great in its own right. So there are the positives of it as well, but it just has to be fair for everybody.
Yeah, and like while we're speaking about, AI applications in entertainment, I mean, clearly as a writer and like I'm not WGA, but ChatGPT, I could literally just sit here and ChatGPT all the comic books I'm writing, like all the screenplays I'm writing, that yada, yada, yada. Like the tool is there. However, I cannot make it more clear. Like we will never do that. We will always write things ourselves, avoid using AI in that fashion. And there's something about, especially artists, all of our amazing comic artists, like we could be using more AI in our comic books. And you and I have talked about this thoroughly. It's a non-starter. And like the whole thing is it removes the human element from art, which is human expression. And like we could talk about this for hours, but point being, we could save a lot of time and a lot of money by using these AI tools that are available to the public, but we're certainly not, and stand firmly with writers everywhere when, you know, they want producers and studios to guarantee them they're not going to lose their jobs as writers to AI.
Yeah.
100%.
At what expense, right?
Yeah.
What would it cost to move in that direction? And, you know, there's just, it's something different when it comes to, you know, human creation, human creativity and imagination versus, you know, artificially generated. It might be able to make something beautiful, but it'll never be the same. And then that's the thing that I feel is I think AI could eventually get to perfection, you know, and maybe in the way they do it could be perfect. And that's the beauty of being human, is nobody's perfect. Nothing's perfect. And that's everything, you know. The flaws and things are what make them beautiful. And
that's a really well said and a really good point. It's like art and expression is imperfection.
Yeah.
Right. And like a computer can't simulate that. And like, man, you talk about, I mean, there's so many different applications in the entertainment industry.
But even there's dangers to that, I think, as well, if you think about it. Because what if, you know, somebody goes out and generates an AI created likeness of somebody doing a horrible, heinous act, and somebody couldn't tell the difference, and they get their entire career or life or get thrown in jail or whatever happens for this heinous act. And it's like, well, is there going to be a point, how are we going to be able to decipher the difference, you know, and how is that going to affect people moving forward, you know?
100%. And we could definitely talk for hours and hours about AI and entertainment and our stance on that. But I think we're going to explore other industries and other ways AI is helping things like. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed the video.
And subscribe and hit the bell for a whole lot more to come.